Let's do another colour along with me. This time we're going to do a bow. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but I'm colouring in this page from Fairy Homes by Jade Summer, and I'm actually loving it. Sometimes I don't finish pages, but this one I'm hoping to finish. We've already done 3 really cute huge pink bows, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. This one I've added some stickles to it as well. Alright, so for this bow and everything on this page, we've been working with Prismacolor pencils because I love how they blend together. So first I'm going to start off by going in with a PC 103, and this is going to be the darkest blue, so I'm going to lay this down everywhere where I want the shadows, but this layer is going to be really light just until we get a gist of where we want everything to go. So I'm going to go in really lightly with this blue. Obviously, because this part of the bow as well is underneath the other 2 loops, it's going to be darker than the top 2, so we need to create a lot of shadow. And the good thing about Prismacolor pencils is even if you put it down in the wrong area, it's quite easy to blend out. It's not perfect, but it's a lot easier than some other pencils to blend out areas where you've gone a bit wrong, which I love about them. Okay, so I've not come up too far from the edge, and like I said, it's just a light layer for the first one because it's the darkest blue, so we want to make sure we don't really get that everywhere. The next one I'm going to go in with is PC 903, so kind of like a medium blue. With this one, I'm placing it a little bit over the top of the dark blue and also bringing it down just a tiny bit. I don't want to accidentally take up all of the space of the highlights because that's really easy to accidentally do. But with this one, I am just going over the top of the darkest slightly and also slightly bringing it up. So it's quite, once you get to this stage, quite easy because you could just copy what you've already put down, but just like extra, if that makes sense. 919, this one, obviously, I'm going to do it exactly the same. So I'm going to go over the top of the last blue a little bit, but also bring it down into the open space that we've got left over. This is the second to lightest blue. So we've got one more to come in with. I'm also blending down a little bit. I like to blend all of the blues together. These blues do tend to work really nicely. I will put the numbers again in the description if you're wanting to kind of like have a little play around with them as well if you have these pencils. 1086, this is going to go down everywhere where we've got space left over. Like I said, this is just the first layer. It's going to look a little bit weird, but you've got to trust the process. And also with Prismacolors, it's a lot easier to be able to kind of mold and just get the pencil where you want it if it's not quite how you envisioned. So I'm going back in now over the areas where I first put this dark blue down. Going in, obviously pressing harder this time. Now we know exactly where we want it to go. So I'm just doing the second layer. I never used to use layers, but since I started colouring again, I've realised like how important layers are like this. So they make such a big difference. I really recommend adding multiple layers. So we're going to re-go over all of the bits that we've just done with the same pencils again in the same spots, but smush it all together and blend it. So I'll see you in a second and we'll see what that looks like. Okay, all the layers are smushed together now, and it should look a little bit something like this. So now I'm going to go in with the black, which is PC 935. With the black, I'm going to be adding it underneath this top bow loops, just to add a bit of shadow underneath here. I'm also going to add a really light layer of black in these darker areas and a bit down here, because you'll see in a minute what we're going to do. So before you do that, make sure you watch the rest of the video so you know what we're going to do. We're only going to go really lightly with the black, so I'll see you on the next stage. Now that we've gone in with the black super lightly, like I don't think I could have pressed any lighter because I don't want the black to be staying down on the paper as harsh as it is. I'm going back in with the 105, which was the darkest blue, and I'm going over the top of the black and pushing pretty hard. I'm trying to blend the majority of the black in with the blue to just give it like, to make it look like a darker shade of blue. We're kind of creating a whole new shade of blue, I guess, and getting rid of the actual black itself because it just adds an extra bit of darkness, I guess, to the blend, and helps to create harsher shadows where you want the really dark shadows. After doing that, I'm going to go in with a third layer just to give the lighter shades an extra boost on top of the darkness that we've just added in, just because it feels like we need another layer adding on top. So I'm just going to quickly do that. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So for the next step, we're going to go in and do the hoop that's inside of the bow, and I'm going to add the darker shade right along the top and then bring it down and just again add all of the layers until you bring it all the way to the bottom. This bit is kind of super quick to do, and it also is quite satisfying because you can just blend real nice. And then I'm going to go back in with a black and just darken it so that you can see it is actually a bow hoop. So I'll see you in a second. Using the Faber Castell PITT Artist brush pen, which I've been really liking. So let's add some highlights to this part of the bow and then it'll be finished. It does look really scary and in your face when you first put it down on the paper, but you'll see as it dries it lightens up a lot. And the good thing about this pen as well is that if there's a bit that you're not liking very much that you've put down on the paper, you can literally just go in with the Prismacolor pencils and colour straight back on top of it again and get rid of it, which I think is just crazy amazing. I love this pen so much. So for the final little pieces then, I do like to go in, like I just said, and colour a little bit over the top of the white pen that I added, just to get rid of some of the weird lines that it made with the brush section, but also to just make it look like it is part of the piece and not just a white line on top of everything. You can really blend it together, and I recommend that pen so freaking much. But what do you think? This is just about the final piece of the bow. We've got 2 more bits to do, but I'm loving it so much. This page is really coming together.